What's up, everybody? LSU start their SEC West play this weekend in the final season of the SEC West. Yes, you've heard me right. SEC West will be gone. After this season, no more. One second, I just got a crazy message. We'll let some people come in here, get in here, and we're gonna be posting some links everywhere so people can see this. That's what we found out last show. We were wondering, wow, no one even watched our show. What's going on? There's like 6 people watching and 10 people watching. It was barely anything. What the hell's going on? And then I realized you didn't even share it in Facebook. You didn't even post it on Twitter. You didn't even post, like, people have to see this shit to even know it exists, dude. And so I was like, oh, God, what am I doing? And so quickly figured that out. Sometimes I overlook that people have to actually know what the hell's going on first. Sorry, I just picked my nose. Sorry, I am on the cusp of a really big story. LSU have I can't even give any like hints about this, or it's just gonna blow it. Let's just say this: it's great news. It's something every LSU fan would love to hear. Every LSU fan would be just like overjoyed to hear this news. And I cannot wait to break it because this is someone I really like. This is someone that scared the shit out of me for the last little while. This is someone who, in only a little amount of time, I'm shocked at how tight I have gotten to be with them. This is someone who you just want success for. This is someone LSU Nation loves. And so I cannot wait to break this news. In fact, I've set up a second StreamYard for that meeting to take place that we might be doing just because, yeah, there's a lot to go over and stuff. There's a lot I need to see. God, this is nuts. But LSU starting their season, their SEC season opener this weekend at Starkville. Mason Smith is back. Mason Smith just played a game. He looks like he's gotten that, at least got through that rust part at the beginning, and maybe he's out of the woods. We all just really wanted to see him get a game under his damn belt, really. We didn't expect him to get 4 sacks or whatever. Last game, I expected him to get like 2.5 just because it was Grambling. But Grambling played really damn well. There was times where actually Mason was kind of put on his ass. So I think he got through that gauntlet. What did he play, like 39 snaps, something like that? We got the numbers right here. That's the thing. If you want to know snap counts, if you want to know all these types of really intense next level numbers, stats, you come to LSU Odyssey. We've got all this shit right here. Whose snaps counts were we looking at? We're trying to find. Oh yeah, Mason Smith. Sorry, right as I started this, I'm being pulled in like 3 different directions. No sun. Sage is not here. I took advantage of the 3 hours that he's not going to be here today with Mama at her work. And yeah, see, Mason Smith played 35 snaps, 68.6 defensive record, which puts him as a 17th rated defender, 40.6 run defense record, really low there. Don't know how much you can read into that. Although, they ran for over 100 yards, had a 100-yard rusher on us. His tackling grade was 15th. Pass rushing grade was 2nd, 82.7. 25 pass rushing snaps, just 1 total pressure. That's kind of strange. That's kind of a strange. Some of the grades sometimes I don't really quite understand how they get to their conclusion. Crazy. Harold Perkins has been targeted 8 times this season. He's been put in coverage way too much, in my opinion. Yeah, LSU, Mississippi State. We've got Mason Smith back. We're starting to see Harold Perkins play a little bit more around the. You've got 26 snaps as defensive lineman, basically in that defensive line box off that edge. 47 snaps in the box, 20 snaps in the slot, and 26 snaps out wide. So I think if you take like 10 of those slot snaps, 10 of those out wide snaps, even like most of those 20 of those out wide snaps, and you put them right in that defensive line box place, you're going to have a lot more success from Harold. Harold's got 4 pressures this season. Savion Jones leading the way with 6. Mekhi Wingo with 5. We got 4 guys with 4+. Braden Swinson is tied with Harold Perkins with 4. Seen a lot of good play from him. 86.5 pass rushing record from Harold Perkins. And then you got Braden Swinson, 66.0. I think that should be a lot higher, too. Mekhi Wingo right there, 81.1 pass rushing record. He's 3rd. Major Burns, over 100 snaps. Zy Alexander, over 100 snaps. Andre Sam at 99 snaps already. That's just very interesting. Zy Alexander picked on 12 times, allowed 9 catches so far. Just unacceptable. What we're doing from the coverage position, from the secondary positions, is just alarming. We allowed 16 first downs last week against Grambling, over 300 yards total. We allowed 170-something yards in just the first quarter. We let Grambling rush for over 100 and pass for over 100, almost near 150 in both categories, before the midpoint of the second quarter. Obviously, we put on the clamps, got things going, but good Lord. We're playing against a team, Mississippi State, that run the ball right down your throat. This is a team that do not be going into this game expecting the air raid offense from Mike Leach. Do not be going into this game expecting Will Rogers to throw 62 times like he did before, or 42 times. He's literally thrown for over 104 attempts against LSU in just his last two appearances versus the Tigers. He threw for only 17 attempts last week in an overtime game against Arizona. He's only thrown for, I think it was like 54 total through 2 games. So you've got a Mississippi State offense that is completely changing what they're doing. Their identity is completely different. And they're using Jaquavius Marks in a brilliant way. He is probably the key man we have to stop. I think Lydidrick Griffin out wide at receiver is someone who could absolutely toast some of those guys who've been allowing big plays out there. Sorry, once again, sending these links out. I get going and I forget to just send the links all at the beginning and then just go on from there. I'm sorry, guys. We will keep getting better at this, I promise you. And if there's a time where we're just not, call us on it. Say, hey, you're not getting better at this. Up your game. We'll listen to you. You got to remember, I feed off criticism. I love it. Like, it's something that, because I know every time I hear it, whether or not it's valid, whether it's full of shit, whether it's from a place of jealousy or whatever, I know it's going to help me just by simply entertaining the bullshit. Like if you think it's bullshit, I tend to know what I'm screwing up with. I know I don't look always the most professional. I know I don't always have the most professionally suited production. Um, Trust me, I'm more aware than you could probably understand with some of this stuff. But we can definitely always get better. But, the thing that's really interesting about this game is everyone goes, oh, well, we're expecting the air raid offense against LSU's porous secondary. Well, since we're not going to see that, LSU are going to be fine because they're letting the corners off and the safeties off the hook, right? And wrong. You've got to understand, he is still, like literally, Will Rogers is still incredibly efficient with the football. Like, he is absolutely still killing it with the football. Let's get those stats right here. I mean, I understand he's not throwing the ball even close to as much as he is. But taken from our LSU Mississippi State preview predictions article that came out a couple days ago, Will Rogers, let's see. Huh. I don't know where the hell his stats are. Weird. Let's just look them up. I know he had 5 touchdowns and 0 picks. 389 passing yards, 5 touchdowns, 0 picks, and he's thrown with a 69% completion percentage rating. That's funny. 346 attempts, 683 attempts in 2021, 610 attempts in 2022, and then 46 attempts over 2 games, not 54 like I said before. 46 attempts. 5 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, and you might be thinking, "Oh, well they're having a more conservative offense." He's now throwing for his biggest yards of attempt average, 8.5 this season compared to 6.5 in 2022, 6.9 in 2021, 5.7 the year before that. Adjusted passing yards per attempt is 10.6. and his efficiency rating is 178.6 in 2023. His efficiency has gotten better. His volume definitely decreased. And that's because you've got a freak like Jaquavius Marks. This is the man who really worries me this game. Okay, they're running it 39 times per game, 16 more rushing plays than passing attempts. Anytime you're giving Jaquavius Marks the football, you got to be worried for an LSU fan. He's already got 43 carries, 250 yards, 3 touchdowns on the ground, and he's got consecutive appearances where he's eclipsing 120 yards and a touchdown. I know Jordy has been saying on his show he's had a 200-yard game. He had 155 combined last week. He did not have a 200-yard game. But still, he's doing it in the receiving game too. He's got 91 receiving yards from just 6 catches, which is second on the team. And you want a crazy stat right here. Marks has 91 yards total, right? 91 yards receiving total. He also has 91 total receiving yards after the catch. 91 yards after the catch, 91 total receiving yards, meaning all of his yards are coming after the catch. Meaning these are really quick dumping, quick striking passing plays, for the most part. We just barely got the Twitter link out. What are we doing, man? We got to be quicker on this shit. Just got a message from James Brown, Jaylen Brown's father. What up, James? I want you on the show, my man. We got to talk about what's going on this awesome season. And so, okay, this game, you've got Mississippi State playing a far more conservative offense. You've got Mississippi State playing a far more, how do we say this? I mean, this is just a far more methodical offensive game. I mean, I'm trying to think of the best way to put this. It's more conservative offensively, far more conservative offensively. They're basically relying completely on Jaquavius Marks. Let's put it that like that. Jaquavius Marks is really the go-to guy. He's the one the offense runs through. And then you got LaDietrich Griffin. And that's the dude who on the outside who I'm really worried about. I don't think Zy Alexander can cover him out there. And Zy Alexander is supposed to be the number one guy. Well, your number one guy has allowed 9 catches from 12 targets already in the season. Like, totally picked on. 7 catches from 12 targets, 124 yards, 17.7 yards per reception, 47 yards after the catch. He's allowed a 40-yard longer and a 34-yard longer in 2 games and allowed a touchdown. Had 1 pass breakup at the end of the game. LSU only has 5 total pass breakups. One of those is from a linebacker. 2 interceptions, Deuce Chestnut and Greg Penn. The third, LSU has 3 players who've allowed 5+ catches. Deuce Chestnut, Major Burns with 7, Zy Alexander with 7. Major Burns, 8 targets, 7 catches allowed, 87.5 87.5 completion rating, 1 touchdown. Good Lord. 8 different players have allowed 3 catches. Andre Sam allowed a touchdown. Denver Harris has allowed a touchdown. Deuce Chestnut has allowed a touchdown. Zy Alexander's allowed a touchdown. 5 guys have allowed a touchdown in LSU secondary. 5 different guys. Sam, Burns, Alexander, Chestnut, Harris. Jesus. That's the thing is LSU. They've got to find a way of how to make sure these defensive ends can keep contained. If they can't keep contained against Jaquavius Marks, Will Rogers will start picking us off in the flat. If we can start, shutting the running game down, well, they'll just go, okay, we'll just simply play action, few drops. If someone's open downfield, which they might be, then he's going to give a shot. But then also just hit Marks in the flat, let him make a play, and we're good. Like, that scares the hell out of me in this game. That Marks is such a dual threat weapon. And he's the type of dual threat weapon you've seen absolutely neuter LSU defenses the last few years. Especially since this, losing openers thing happened. If you have any comments, any questions, put them in there because if you want to take this in a certain direction, if there's players you want to talk about, if there's aspects of this game you think we're overlooking, bring it forth. We want to hear it. I don't know if you can hear, but I got Ween in the background. Pissing me off with your voodoo. Sorry, guys. Continuously sending out these damn links because I start sending a link and I get lost that I actually already sent that. Okay. All right, we're back. We predicted a 2019. Sorry, 2019. We predicted a 29-13 final score for this game. LSU has not scored over 36 points against Mississippi State since 2013. Haven't been able to do it. Haven't been able to do it. And so usually these games are grinded out affairs. These games are brutal affairs. These games are, I'm looking right now at a photo where Joe Burrow almost has his pants pulled down. That's what we're looking at right now. I mean, look at this shit. Look at this shit. They almost emasculated Joe. in 2019. I mean, my God, Mississippi State always play us well. Jordan Haddad says, "When will the news you can't break?" Wow, I'm shocked. Someone even saw that part. I'm not sure. Um, it's always about when I get the green light. When the second I can, we do it. Sometimes it's up to the team have certain needs, and they're like, wait until this time, then you can put it out. Or the team are literally like, you're not putting this out at all. Or we don't think we need to tell the team, so we put it out, and then someone with LSU Sports Info comes to us and says, "Lon, you're making our job more difficult. What the hell was that?" Usually, it's waiting for a source to give us a green light. That's really it. That's really it. There's the guy right here, Jaquavius Marks, that I'm worried about. Okay, freakishly worried about this guy. I think he's someone who could absolutely hurt LSU in more ways than one. Ledietrick Griffin, he had 4 touchdowns last year, already has 2 this season, had only 500 yards last season, already has 116. 102 of those yards coming after the catch. I mean, that's just nuts. So while people are going to be caught up in Jaquavius Marks, as they should be, probably the best running back in the SEC as far as like a proven starter right now. Raheem Sanders could be up there as well, but Jaquavius Marks is sick. I think he actually is leading the SEC in rushing right now. To be real with you, and also Mike Wright, 92 yards off just 6 rushes as well. That's another dude that they can add to the stew there. But Ledietrick Griffin, I do not like this guy. I feel like he could be a matchup worry for LSU. Um, 9 catches from 11 total targets. And like I said, he's really making that progress from last year. 4 touchdowns, just over 500 across 13 games last year. He's got 2 and 116 in 2 games. So, I mean, you can clearly see that he's making that jump. They've also only dropped 1 pass on offense while we've dropped 6. Um, so I'm not really sure if I'm more worried about them offensively and what they can do to our defense, because our defense has been playing poor. There's no getting around that. I'm just not sure if I'm more worried about their offense or their defense. And I guess it's really just in the eye of the beholder what you value most, what you feel wins games. Well, let's just put it this way. What I feel wins games is trench play. And then you go out from there. So that's offense and defense. That's special teams too. I mean, trench play is going to decide this game. So thank God we've got Mason Smith back. Thank God we've got some way to fight up front when you've got Mekhi Wingo playing already over 100 snaps, coming off of a torn labrum injury as well. Like, let's give these guys a chance to come back here by actually like having a rotation for fucking once. These guys have always just had to just persevere through last year. Some of these guys were the only people in their position. Mekhi Wingo playing nearly 1,000 snaps on the defensive line in a single season. I mean, where do you even see that happening? That's just absolutely crazy. That's just absolutely nuts. Well, he's already played over 100 snaps this season so far, which was exactly what we did not want to see. I don't know why I'm still talking with this right arm, because this kills me to even pull my arm up. What am I doing? And also, Jordan, that the breaking news thing, you know me, when I can break it, it will be broken. The one thing about this is has to deal with some things that aren't just football. They're things that could get me in serious legal trouble if I were just to be like, yeah, the fans want it now. So I'm going to make myself look cool in front of like 10 fans who will even remember that I'm the one who broke this. And I'm going to post this. Like, that's how you lose sources. That's why I've been able to do this for 5 years, because I took bullets for my sources. My sources saw that I was the one who looked wrong. I was the one who looked bad. And those sources knew shit. Lon just took that bullet for me. That pays off, especially when you've been doing this as long as I have now. This is, this is something I didn't want to share until the time was right. But the Arkansas game will be our 5th anniversary as an entity. It will be LSU Odyssey's 5th anniversary. When you're doing this as long as we have, you get used to certain things. One thing that's been hard to get used to, LSU losing openers. And not just losing openers, but like getting embarrassed. Can you all hear that? That's Wayne. Okay. Zach Arnett and his 3-3-5 defense, I'm not too concerned about. I think Jaden Daniels should be absolutely all over this defense. I think he should be throwing the ball early, running the ball late, working them left, right, and center. There's opportunities for some big plays here. And I just think if he's not going to take those shots downfield, he's not. You might have to put someone in who's going to, because if you don't take those shots downfield, and Mississippi State are able to just keep edging up to the line of scrimmage, then what the hell are we doing here, man? Like, what the hell are we doing here if we're gonna literally let them off the hook in this type of way? If you don't I don't know how I have to keep explaining this to LSU fans who continuously, like, Jaden Daniels could kill their son in front of them, and they would be like, he had to shoot him. He had no other choice. Offensive line, bro. Come on. It's like, listen, if Jaden Daniels wants to run the football, he has to throw the ball to back the defense off to give himself space. And if he doesn't, they move closer and closer and crowd the box. And then you've got other people saying, no, it's the lack of a running game that's made LSU bad, and then it's made LSU not be able to throw the ball. And oh my God. Do you understand? The more you run the football, it narrows the defensive formation. They're right up in your gut. They're right up in your face. You're just running. All you're doing is running the ball. When is he going to be able to throw the football? When is he going to be able to make a decision with all these people right up in his fucking face? He's not going to be able to. You have to back those people up to get the space to throw the football, to have those running lanes, to be able to do all of it. You have to throw to set up the pass. You have to throw to set up the run. It's really not that difficult. And here's the thing. People say, well, you can do it vice versa. No, you can't. Because teams' defenses are already showing up aware that Jaden Daniels can't make those throws, usually won't make those throws. And so, okay, if he beats us on a 70, 80-yard bomb, that's the only time he's doing it all game, and let's dare him to do it. We're coming at him. We're not going to let him beat the contain. We're not going to let him have these shung, 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 these huge lanes on all three squares of all three quadrants of the field. They're not going to let him do it. I mean, if you are a defensive coordinator, worth a damn, deserve your job, right? You saw the footage that Jaden Daniels put up against Arkansas. You saw the footage of the offense that Jaden Daniels put up against Texas A&M. You now know how to stop him. You narrow the formation. You get as many guys in the box and in his face as possible. But here's the thing. LSU are helping. They're absolutely helping themselves get beat with this type of stuff. When you have 7-man protections, when you have, all these guys right up to the line of scrimmage to protect Jaden Daniels, you know what you're doing? You're actually inviting as much pressure as possible on Jaden Daniels, because where else are they going to go? They're all right in there. The guys that they're responsible for, their assignments, are all right there. I literally saw it against Florida State. Everyone was wide in the end zone, in the red zone. We're on the 2-yard line. Mason Taylor's in the slot. Everything looks nice. You snap that ball, fake that handoff, and run to your left. Jaden Daniels is in, just walks in. Instead, we motion Taylor in tight to be an inline tight end, because we need him there, right? We need him there for a big block, right? Except it drags that linebacker who's playing in a nickel position. It drags him right back into his natural spot where he can blow things up. It gives the defensive line more help. Why are we doing this? Spread them out. Literally have just a 5-man offensive line. Very simple protection. And then you can run it down their fucking throats. Because I'm telling you, they're not going to have the chance to stop it when they're so spread out. If you actually have speed on your team, you want to spread everyone out, because they have to travel more of a distance to make the stop. It's quite obvious. I shouldn't even have to explain this, but apparently I do. There's some things with this game that really bother me going into it. When you're talking about LSU's chances, opportunities for success here, it's all about the defense. I understand the offense it's been underwhelming. I understand the offense, we're not really sure which direction to go in. I understand the offense has issues with an identity. But at the same time, the offense has a ton of continuity. The offense has a ton of people who were there last year. I mean, even the offensive linemen. So, offensive lines there pretty much for the same, receivers, tight ends. Quarterback, running backs. It's all, we just added to that. Defensively, Defensively, we have a hell of a lot to be worried. We have a hell of a lot to be worried about. LSU's total offense through 2 games, 1,081 yards. Our opponents have gained 814 yards on us in 2 games. We are averaging allowing 6.5 yards per play. Offenses are averaging 407 yards on us. We've given up 7 offensive touchdowns. We've thrown for 666 total yards. I love that. Opponents have thrown for 516. We've thrown for 5 passing touchdowns on us. We've thrown for 6 total ourselves. Ran the ball for 415. They've run the ball for 298. Let's adjust those numbers with negative yards. We've gained 449. They've gained 339. We've lost 34 total yards. They've lost 41. Rushing attempts, 75. They've rushed for 63. Average per attempt. We are averaging 5.5 per attempt. Obviously, Jaden Daniels makes those numbers look better. We are allowing 4.7 yards per attempt, and we played Grambling in one of those games. Our average allowing rushing yards per game is 149. We are allowing 149 rushing yards per game. That was the thing about last year's defense. We barely allowed anyone to rush over 100 yards on us. The Tennessee running back did. Of course, A-Chain from A&M did. There were a few guys, but it was like 3 or 4. I think it was 4 total guys, and one of them was quarterback Anthony Richardson from Florida. We are allowing 12 of 26 on third down, almost a 50% conversion rating against us. Our opponents have sacked us 5 times. Interesting reading right here. LSU are 10 of 13 in the red zone this season. You know, the Grambling game makes that look a lot better. Those 3 misses cost us that Florida State game. Those 3 red zone misses cost us that Florida State game directly in that first half. Red zone attempts from our opposition, 7, and they've scored 4 times. 4 times from 7. I mean, that's not what you want to see. We've allowed 20 passing first downs, more than rushing first downs. We're allowing 27.5 points per game. You know, only 4 penalties in 2 games, and the teams are playing against us have put up 20 penalties. 20 penalties in 2 games. That's something else. I think Grambling had like 14 or something like that. So, you know, Logan Diggs had a big game last week. So did Caleb Jackson. Josh Williams is always playing well. John Emery Jr. is back. What are we going to see from the running game this week? And LSU have to run the football to win this game, in my opinion. We have to stop the run game, and we have to win the running game. We have to dominate the run game. Dominate the ground. dominate the trenches on both sides of the ball. Special teams, we can include that as well. It's not going to be as pleasing to the eye as you would think. Maybe you're expecting LSU to have 36, 33, 35, 34 shootout, when really what we're going to see is going to be a grinded out, tooth removing, just suffering to the end type of game, where LSU are going to have to absolutely earn this thing. It's going to come down to maybe a turnover, maybe a big time sack, which LSU's only had one of this season, and it would be great to get a few this game. I'm telling you what LSU need more than anything in this game is an early turnover. You saw what happened when Cordell Flott picked off Will Rogers in 2021. Cordell Flott has the pick on Will Rogers. It completely changed that game. Obviously, LSU needed to score off the turnover to really take advantage of that, and we did. But then Cordell Flott forces a fumble on the next drive. Had a huge game for us, Cordell Flott, in that game. Probably, without doubt, his greatest game as an LSU Tiger. And LSU just took control of the game and never gave it up. So that's the type of game we're going to see, in my opinion. One or two plays are going to change this thing fast, because it's so even matched that you're giving so much energy, so much passion, so much violence into each and every play, just even to stand there, that when the time comes toe to toe, someone's just going to just release and leave the other one in the dust. Just like we saw with LSU Florida State. That game was really tight, really evenly matched. It was getting kind of intense, getting kind of crazy. It was constantly chippy on that field, constant shit talking, constantly getting in people's faces. Players even pointing at Brian Kelly saying, "I want some of you. Get out here." Sometimes those games end like that, where you just this game should have been 34-30. Why end by a 2-touchdown gap win? Well, that's just what happens when you've got such quality on the field and such a passion to kick each other's ass. Something's got to give here, right? Okay. There's a guy named Jet Johnson who I'm really worried about, playing for Mississippi State. Linebacker, leads the team in interceptions with 2, leads the team in sacks with 2. I mean, he wrecks so much havoc. He can be had. He's allowed a few catches this season, but he's someone I totally want to avoid in this game. He's their best defender, in my opinion. Jet Johnson. You're going to hear his name a lot on the telecast. Watch out for him. Sean Preston Jr., Chaz Preston's older brother, has an interception on the season. Playing pretty well, although he's allowed 7 targets his way, and all 7 of them have been caught. He did have the interception off of, probably a bouncing ball from someone else's target or something. But there's definitely going to be opportunities for Daniels to take shots on these kind of inconsistent, porous linebackers and DBs, aside from Jet Johnson. I mean, you've got DeCamerion Richardson, who's been targeted 13 times and has given up 9 catches. Nathaniel Watson has given up 7 catches. And then, of course, Sean Preston Jr. has given up 7. So you've got chances here. They have intercepted passes. I think it's 4 interceptions already. They've got 4 sacks, 4 fumble recoveries, 2 forced fumbles, 12 TFLs, 28 quarterback hurries. I mean, they've looked impressive if you just look at the raw stats defensively. But when you watch the Arizona game and how Arizona were able to attack this defense, it's from a lot of the dink and dunk kind of offensive style that we do with Jaden Daniels, but it's also the pass setting up the run. I mean, let's check this out right now. So I can have some context to back up what I'm saying to you right now. Okay, here we go. Jaden Delara threw for 342 yards against Mississippi State. 32 of 46. Problem is 2 touchdowns, but 4 interceptions, 4 picks. Jaden Delara also ran for 8 carries, 44 yards, and a touchdown. So Jaden Delara is showing kind of a little bit of a blueprint of what Jaden Daniels could possibly do against this team. Nearly 400 total yards of offense, but the 4 picks are what really, really killed Arizona's chances. And they lost this game in overtime. You know, they were losing 14-0 at one point against Mississippi State. Came back on them. Like, they outscored Mississippi State 17-10 in that second half. The thing is, Mississippi State were great against the run against Arizona. Only allowed 91 total yards from 25 carries, 3.6 per carry. No one ran the ball for more than 44 yards, and that was Jaden Delara. 11 carries for 33 yards from their main running back, Michael Wiley. Crazy. Receiving the ball, though, I mean, Arizona lit them up. Tete-Rora McMillan, 8 catches, 161, averaging 20.1 per catch. Had a 55-yard long one and a touchdown. They caught passes of 55, 27, 28, 17, 11. They made some big damn plays against Mississippi State's defense through the air. They were able to dink and dunk and then just start unloading big plays down the field, plays after the catch. God damn, this fly is up in my grill. Leave me the fuck alone, dude. 9 tackles for loss from Mississippi State's defense last week. 9. Just 1 sack. Jet Johnson. 9 sacks. 8 pass breakups. Like, this defense stuffs the stat sheet. They stuff the stat sheet like you would want LSU's defense to stuff the stat sheet. You know, we should be getting 9 tackles for loss, 8 pass breakups a game. We're barely even getting that, like, in total for the year. Jet Johnson had 2 picks last game. 2 picks. I think they had all 4 of their interceptions. Yeah, they had all 4 of their interceptions as a defense last week. Jet Johnson led them in tackles for loss, leads them in sacks, leads them in interceptions. I mean, what a freak nature this player is.
This is a status bar. This is a search bar. Let's know the difference.
That is a mute button.
Social media. It can be overwhelming for a young homeowner turning into their
Leditra
parents.
Griffin.
What does it mean to slide into someone's
Maybe I'm pronouncing his name
DMs?
wrong.
That sounds like
83 yards, 5
we're not ready
catches,
for that.
2 touchdowns
As a team,
last week
we'll
against
get
Arizona.
there. It might be a
Huge
fruit emoji,
difference
but that doesn't
maker.
mean they're talking about fruit.
Jaquavius Marks, 4
Progressive can
catches,
save you from
32
becoming
yards,
your parents,
as long
but
as
we can save
13.
you
Look
money
at
when you
this,
bundle
though.
home and auto with us.
After
Jay, do you really think
Ladysha
we need
Griffin,
47
83
photos
yards.
of fun dinner at
No
Pam?
one caught more than 32 yards from
I know what
Marks.
Terramana is.
Jeffrey
One of the best
Pittman, 1
tequilas
for
in the world,
29
okay?
and
I
a
know what
touchdown, but
Moan is.
one
One of the
catch
best
for 29
animated
yards
films
all
of
game.
time.
What?
Okay? Can't wait for the live action.
Thank you.
And he
Yeah.
had the he's the
We
one
talk
who's
about
who has a
What
drop
can I
as well.
say
One drop
except
on the
you're
season. Simeon Price,
welcome?
1 catch, 8
And we
yards.
talk about
Jaden Wally,
Mana.
1
Honestly,
catch,
listen,
6
kid, I
yards.
could go on
Justin
and on. I could
Robinson,
explain
1
every
catch,
natural
4 yards.
phenomenon. The tide, the
Mississippi
grass, the
State
ground. Oh, that was
might not
Maui
even
just
have a
messing around.
passing
I
game
couldn't
outside of
buried its
Ladysha
guts.
Griffin
Right at the
and
tree. Now you got
Jaquavius Marks.
coconuts. What's the lesson?
So if
What is the
LSU
takeaway? Don't mess
can
with Maui
actually
when he's
show
on a
some of
breakaway.
that,
And the temperature here on my
put the
skin
right
is a
guy
map of
on
the victories I
Griffin out
win.
wide.
Look where I've been to make everything happen. Look at the
Pick the
Maui
right
just
guys
tickets happen.
to kind of
That's it.
spy Marks out of the backfield. This game could be really up for LSU to control.
Still got it.
But we talk about Mana on the show.
To
but
stamp
since
that
you
authority
were
with
here,
like a
I
quick
think
7,
no one
10,
better
14,
to tell us
nothing
exactly
lead.
what Mana is and how
And then
much
your
you're
defense
carrying around
really
in
has
this
some,
thing.
And are we allowed to say
confidence,
this as Watts?
some
not
intensity
from
kind of early
Hawaii?
start with a few 4 and outs.
So
Sorry, a few 3 and
mana
outs.
is a
A few
term that
punts,
we have.
maybe,
in my
hopefully,
culture,
to
one of my
God, a
cultures,
turnover
I'm half
early in
black
this
and half
game.
Samoan.
Hopefully,
on
the
Samoan
best thing that
side,
would happen,
Polynesian
a
side, we have a
strip
word
sack
called
from
mana.
Harold
Mana is
Perkins,
spirit. Mana
and that ball is loose, and then like
power.
Savion
You
Jones
can feel
picks it
mana
up
comes
and
from
runs
in
it for a
here.
touchdown.
It's
Like
the thing that gives you goosebumps. It's that
LSU
thing
need
you
these
feel.
big
It's that
plays
thing
on
when I
defense.
walked out and we felt this
They
thing.
need
This is
these
mana.
big splash plays.
This is mana. It's very,
long
very,
game.
very real, and you could feel it.
Be a brutally long
You could
game.
feel it.
Mana.
So that's what mana is. Thank you for bringing it up. But mana is
We got some
everywhere.
comments in here.
And if
Clint
you pay
Phillips
attention to it,
says
you could feel
from
it, you
the
could always
parish.
use it, I
What's up,
think,
Clint? How you
to
doing, my
your
man?
advantage and
What's
find
up,
your
Clint?
power in that way, man.
Clint says from the parish. Where you been at, Big Lon Phillips? You need to start doing more live streams. Lon, why not start Jordan Jefferson and Whit Weeks this week? Hey, man, if you want me to do more live streams, I will. We'll do them all week long. If you guys will be here, we'll watch.
I need all of
We'll comment like you just did.
What you're doing?
If you guys will support it, we'll be here. I mean, we do these types of things whether people are going to support them or not. But when you're only one guy and you're writing all these articles as we have, you're doing all these stuff, you're doing interviews, you really have to pick your battles in a game week. You have to make your priorities solid and stick to them. This interview and this interview and this article, this thing, and then you go down the list. Sometimes we're doing 4 damn things at once. Like it's crazy, and sometimes that can make us cause some mistakes or maybe not give our best work because we're doing so much at once. But how else are we going to do it? How else is any of this possible when you've got a baby, you've got a job where you're working over 50 hours per week, plus this? Thank God, though, I'm not complaining. That job, working security, I basically get paid to do stuff like this all day. Wish we would have the privacy and the quietness at work to be able to do this all day long, or we would. Luckily, we used a lot of that time to write, to interview, to edit, to really make sure, post and promote and stuff like that. But you asked a really good question, Clint. Why not start Jordan Jefferson and Whit Weeks this week? Whit Weeks looked awesome. Whit Weeks looked fast, furious. His brother West was playing well too. It seems like when Whit is out there, you get the best from West. Because West is not going to be outdone by his little brother. He's not going to want to be outdone by Whit. So you see West go up a gear too. So Whit and West, I don't think they're going to start, but I think you're going to see them a lot this week. Because Omar Spates, A, he hasn't been looking that good, and B, he's not going to be moving too well out there with his injuries. So you couple those combined with the fact that he wasn't really moving too well anyway, and I think you're not going to see Omar Spates out there this week. Greg Penn III has stepped up in a big way. You got to really pay those dues for him. 8 tackles on the season, half tackle for loss, and his first LSU interception. Crazy play. I actually think the best defender on the team so far is Mekhi Wingo, but also Greg Brooks Jr. I think those two, you can have them tied. I think Greg Brooks Jr. has been phenomenal for LSU. He's one of like the only guy in the secondary who's played with any ferocity, who's really like gone out of his way to delete people, to break up passes, to pressure the quarterback. His pressure created an interception. His pressure created a sack for Jordan Jefferson. And that's another guy. Jordan Jefferson, if you start him, you're telling me you want to bench Mekhi Wingo or Mason Smith? Don't think so. So I get what you're saying, Clint. But Clint Phillips from the Paris Lawn, you got to get a good better marketing guy for you because you've been around for a minute and got good content. Dude, I don't have a marketing guy. I am the marketing. Like I am pure, like I do all of this. I do the promotion, so yeah. It isn't going to be perfect. It isn't going to be great because we simply can't do all of this shit at once. That's why you see guys like Jordy Collada, Mike Scarborough, the guys at On3. All of them have teams that make them look good. All of them have research teams who go and dig up these stats that we dig up. Like we make the connections with our own brain and go, wow, wait a minute, that's the first time since blah, 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 this has happened, I think, and go and look it up and go and dig. We're the ones who go and we write all this stuff, and then we edit it all, and then we post it, and then we promote it, and then we come on here and we talk to you about it, and it's completely different than what we just wrote. We don't just regurgitate the same bullshit. We might even have a different opinion than in the thing that we wrote because maybe we've evolved, and maybe we found out something new. So yeah, there are teams that make guys look a lot better, and there are marketing guys that we could use big time. If you could absolutely point us in a direction, if you could absolutely hit someone up that who does marketing, we would be all ears. But really, I think we've done really good considering that this is all coming from just one person. All of it. Everything. Marketing, promotion, all of it. But the reason we aren't able to reach as many people as we could or elevate our game even more is simply because you need those extra pairs of hands to do all of this shit at once. That's just straight up the truth. Look at how I was, still talking to you guys, but unable to send out the links every second. It's kind of difficult to write out this perfect promotional link while trying to stay in the moment talking to you guys, trying to get all of the information out correctly, trying to get the thoughts from my brain out correctly. It's weird. I think all of this experience is only going to make me better at what I do. And so that's why I've embraced all of this and haven't really gone desperately looking for people to join my team. But man, I've been wondering and saying out loud for the last year, if anybody wants to join our team, anybody wants to help us take this shit to the next level, anybody wants us to take over LSU media and to do it with us, come along. We have the best sources in LSU media. You know who we talk to at this point. You've seen it. We don't have to prove shit to anybody. You know how much we talk to the players. No one did more interviews with the players this offseason than us. No one. We had 12 Tigers on our channel, 12 current Tigers and a few former Tigers in just like 2 months. We just went bam, 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 bam. Where else are you seeing that? Nowhere. We also have the relationships on staff, not just in the locker room. So there is a chance here for LSUODYSSEY.com to do something really special and take it really to that next level. And thanks for saying that. Thanks for your compliments. Thanks for saying we need better marketing. I love hearing this type of stuff because it helps me get better at what I do. It helps me consider all angles. So thank you, Clint. Clint with another one from DeParish. The only players that attack on defense, no kick Mason out to DE. Huh. Okay, no, kick Mason out to D because he is so tall. Put Jefferson, Mingo in the middle, and Perk at Jack with Penn. Witt inside linebacker, and Brooks is balling out too. Okay, you know what? I like that. Hell yes, sign me up for that, bro. Sign me up for that. I absolutely love that. Jefferson, Mingo, Perk, Mason, Penn, Witt. I love it. I love it. I think that's exactly what you're going to see a lot of this game is a lot of big-time defensive tackle formations, defensive tackle-centered formations. I think you're going to see a ton of it. You know, they're going to try and say that this is going to be the game you think you're going to see. This is going to be the game that we're going to see. Like, and then college football always does this to us. It always turns us around and slaps us in the ass and says, you thought you knew this team. You thought you knew this outcome. And you were completely wrong. You know, that's what's funny to me is this game does things to us. That absolutely just boggle the mind. Oh my God! Someone just sent me the most ridiculous video on fucking YouTube of Texas A&M. Can this thing work? Literally, Texas A&M are like the most secretly gay, secretly creepy, secretly like rapey, like secretly. There's just something really wrong going on at Texas A&M. There's some cult type shit that's going on there, guys. I mean, I'm not talking Temple of Doom. I'm not talking like. We're talking like really creepy type of shit. We're talking Scientology type shit here. Talking like the next level of Mormonism. Clint Phillips with another awesome comment. He says, Lon, you do a great job by yourself. Then the only ones I see playing aggressive. Savion looms too stiff. You know, Savion Jones is an interesting player because we interviewed him before the season, and when he told us that he weighed 280 pounds, I was shocked. I was stunned when he said that, and that was the first time he put that information out publicly, was on our show. Because I remember that spreading around like wildfire. He's 280, he's 280, what the hell? And it becoming a big piece of news from a lot of places. And I really don't think he should have added that weight. I think that was a disservice to the speed of his game. I really think it was a disservice to what he brings to the field. And I don't think it was what he should have done. I think you keep him where he was. I like that he was building the weight since he got there, but 280, you want to keep him, I think, in that 265, 270 realm. I think 280 just makes him a bit too slow. He probably has 2 sacks this season if you don't have him weigh 280, because you've seen him on a bunch of pressures, and you've seen him just not get there because it's just a bit late. Had that awesome quarterback hit on Jordan Travis in week 1. Just lit that dude up. Savion, I'm not going to give up on him at all. I think Savion Jones has actually played well. I think he could play a lot better. I think he could do a lot more. I think he could contribute a lot more. When only one of your defensive linemen has a sack, yes, everyone can play a lot better. And the defensive line is where this game is going to be won or lost. The offensive line as well, too. This defensive line not only has a responsibility to clog and stuff and frustrate Jaquavius Marks, they also have a responsibility to spread out and contain that pass in the flat. Be that first hit. You don't have to necessarily be the guy that stops Marks, but you have to be the guy that reads the play, an indication to the corners on that side, indication to your nickel. You can break away from your route and come and attack the football with me because I need you to get this guy to the ground or he's going to get that first down. I'm not seeing LSU play team defense like that. I'm seeing LSU play this Billy, don't be a hero, don't be a fool of your life type defense where they're just going for the hero stop instead of slow the dude down. You can barely you barely have your control of your feet. You can barely even stand up. So why are you trying to absorb the blow and hit of a 200-pound running back coming at you full speed? Get low, take his feet out, and let someone else finish him off. It's not that hard. You don't always have to get the tackle. Get the half tackle, get the dude to the ground, go to the next play, make them punt. Make them punt the fucking ball or we're screwed. LSU's defense is where I'm really focused on. LSU's offense, all the worries about quarterback, all the worries about this and this, unless they're glaring, unless they're really an issue, they're not going to even really enter my mind this game. I'm going to be focused so much on the defense and where we're aligned, how we're playing. That to me is going to be everything. To me, this defensive front seven can dominate this game and turn it to LSU's favor quick. It's just turning that light bulb on, getting that defense to really wake up. It's not just the secondary, guys. Everyone's going after the secondary. DBU was not what it's supposed to be. Hire Corey Raymond back. Blah, blah, blah. All this stupid bullshit. They're not understanding that the front seven aren't getting any pressure. The front seven aren't really doing anything. One sack from Jordan Jefferson. One sack. Two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Only 8 TFLs. 8 TFLs. They got 12. Mississippi State got 12 TFLs. They don't have Mason Smith. They don't have anyone even close to as talented as Savion Jones. They don't have Mekhi Wingo. They don't have Jacobian Guillory or Harold Perkins. For God's sake, Harold Perkins. Another thing. We keep minimizing his role. He doesn't need to be our best player. It's okay. What the hell is going on here? Literally align your entire defense based around this guy. What's so tough about that? What's so wrong about that? Perkins should be the fulcrum, the epicenter of this defense. I mean, it's great that maybe we don't have to rely on him totally, but what are we talking about here? We were not even able to defensively dominate or win a game on defense yet, and we act like we don't need Harold Perkins being the main guy. I just don't understand what the hell is going on. And I don't understand why he's playing the spectator middle linebacker role. If you want him to be in the middle, that's fine. Have him move. Have him be in different spots at different times. You put him right there, the guards are going to have a field day just putting hands in a hat all over him. Clint Phillips. Oh, wait. Forgot one of your. Clint Phillips says, Lon, is it me? I just don't see LSU attacking, playing physical, trying to punch the ball out. LSU past defensive teams of the past were super aggressive. Clint, you are my guy. You are my type of LSU Tiger fan. You're my dog, bro. You know what you're talking about. You know what you're seeing. This is a soft defense. This is a defense that plays 10 yards off their guy because they don't want to get beat. They don't want to make a mistake. They don't want to get too close. This is a defense that could be absolutely one of the most electrifying LSU front sevens ever. When you're talking about Harold Perkins, Mason Smith, Mekhi Wingo on the same front seven. Instead, you're seeing a defense that is hesitating almost as much as Jaden Daniels does throwing the football. And I don't think that's just from not knowing assignments or anything. There is literally a fear to tackle. There is literally, I don't think practicing for 2 months in fall camp and only doing like 3 or 4 actual tackling practices is going to help your team ever. And we've been doing that since 2019. The 2019 team had difficulties tackling for like the entire season until the last 4 games. After the Ole Miss game, they buckled down. But they had troubles tackling like all season because of that. And it was a rare thing for LSU to do in fall camp, not to tackle really. You saw Orgeron continue to do that the next few off seasons, like barely any tackling to minimize injury, but it screwed our defense up. They weren't aggressive until like week 3 or 4. And that's what I'm hoping for in this game. That's what I'm hoping for in this game is to see a defense that is, like you said, man, hunting for that ball. Ripping that ball out. Take no fucking prisoners. We're going to eat your face. Like literal. I don't know. We're not just sitting here kind of thinking, oh, we wish LSU were like it used to be. Oh, the old times. I don't think that's where you're coming from, Clint. You're coming from the same type of place I'm coming from, which is where's the intensity? Where's the madness? Where's the intent? Like, where is the ferocity? Where are the guys who are like literally like hell bent? You will not stop me. If you shove me to the ground, I'm gonna come flying up, and I'm still gonna get in on the play. Like Tyrann Mathieu, when he was a freshman, wearing number 14, he would get thrown out of the play. He would get held, and then he'd come flying out. And I thought he was out of the play. How the hell did he get back in 1.2 seconds? He's the one making the play. It's just like people always think that about football. Like it's the extra yards you have to run that no one wants to run, that most don't run, that are the yards that actually win you the game, win you awards, make you into a legend. The hard yards that no one wants to run, that extra that no one thinks is even necessary or possible, that you make sure you're there. I mean, that's the difference between what makes you good and what makes you great. So people like Tyrann Mathieu understood that. Lon, in my opinion, they need to start Nuss. JD5 runs in circles too much. If Nuss starts, it will make the defense play the whole field because they know exactly what JD5 is going to do 5 years off. You're not really making any errors by saying that. You're not really making any bad statements by saying what you just said, Clint. To me, it really seems like Jaden Daniels is of this school of thought, and LSU's offense is under this school of thought that they have to run and establish that running game before they can even dare throw the ball more than 5 yards. Got to establish that running game. Establish that running game. I get it. And establishing the running game is a big part of winning football games. I get it. You're not going to be able to establish the running game until you get the defense out of the box. How do you do that? How do you get a defense to back up? How do you get a defense to use less numbers in the box? You throw the fucking football. You make them deepen. You make them widen. You make them expand. Maybe bring in different personnel, guys who can cover better but can't necessarily tackle as well. Then you've got them right where you want them. That is when you've got them right by the balls. Schlemp Genova says, looks like Notre Dame defense. Did you see good signs from Denver Harris? He at least was in better position and attempted to make the play. Right there. I mean, like, it was a terrible play by him still. Like, he was good coverage, but just did not fight, did not battle for that ball when it was up in the air and allowed that touchdown. Terrible play. But he was there. It was only like his first 2 snaps, his second snap in over a year. Or sorry, less than a year, but still like 9 months or something like that. Since his move to LSU, at first snap as a Tiger, all this stuff is a big deal. I remember when I played sports, you would actually think about some of this stuff for a split second. Even when your coach is talking to you, you're like, oh my God, that guy's in the crowd. He's watching me. Oh my God, my girlfriend's right there. Like, you will think about it. I know the athletes go, I never thought about the bullshit. You still think about this stuff for a split second. It's still there. And that cannot happen. That's got to be erased. And so for Denver Harris to already get that out of the way is a big deal in my opinion. Now he can just play freely, and I think you're going to see a lot of them. I think LSU have no chance, no choice but to put him out wide. I think we haven't seen enough from Sage Ryan still. I think, yes, he allowed 4 catches from 5 targets. 1 or 2 of those should have been charged to Zy Alexander, not to Sage. But he didn't look good in his first game, Sage Ryan, against Florida State. Missed some tackles too. But he is such a damn good player. With such untapped potential and talent, you have to find out. You have to find out if he's going to be good enough for you. You have to give him an opportunity against Mississippi State, in my opinion. You have to continue to give this dude sequences of opportunities. Because I'm telling you right now, Zy Alexander is not that guy. He might still make some plays this season, but he's going to allow a ton of catches and a ton of yards. Denver Harris, I think until he's just literally shits his pants, you've got to have him out there. Deuce Chestnut, of course, hurt. JV and Toviano. He has a few tackles, a stop, 62.7 coverage grade from only 6 coverage snaps, only 17 total snaps. Could he be an option out there? Let me tell you an option ahead of him who's also a freshman, but someone who's really done well. He is the only LSU Tiger to be targeted this season without allowing a catch. We're talking guys who even have 1 target have still let that target become a catch. He's the only one who is not allowed a reception this season. Ashton Stamps, 5 targets his way, 22 snaps, 12 in coverage. From 12 coverage snaps, 5 targets his way, 1 pass breakup on a long bomb down the field too. Could have been a big play. Only has a 50.6 coverage grade. How does that even make sense? Ashton Stamps has a 50.6 coverage grade from 5 targets, 0 completions allowed, 1 pass breakup, 0 touchdowns, of course. That makes absolutely no sense. Ashton Stamps, I think, is a dude who you have to see at some point. You have to give this kid a chance. You have to find out what he's capable of, see if he's ready for the moment. I don't care about youth or inexperience anymore. I'm so sick of listening to that. I'm so sick of listening to, we can't play him. He's never played before. He can't play him because he's never played in the SEC. Who cares? If he's the best available player on this roster, put him in the game. I am so goddamn sick of losing games to teams we have no right losing to because we cannot get over our ego or our politics or whatever's going on that denies some of these guys the ability to play. I'm not talking Joe Biden versus Trump, politics. I'm talking politics like you like a guy over another. This guy fulfills something for you that this guy doesn't. That's the politics I'm talking about. When you're talking about people being political in sports, it's not, this guy loves Biden. That guy's such a Biden guy. We're not talking about that. We're talking about this coaching staff can be political as hell. And that's coming from players, current LSU Tigers, including guys who are favored, including guys who get every snap possible. They still agree with that. They still agree with that. Kelly has his favorites, and he kind of had to pick favorites because he was a new coach. Kind of had to have guys like Bramblett be a spy for him, tell him what's going on, what the players are saying. He kind of really had to bridge this little by little, it wasn't easy for Coach Kelly. And I think some of what happened, some of the reasons he's made, some of the guys he's chosen to be his guys in a way, a lot of them are transfers. Wingo, of course, Jaden Daniels. Noah Kane was another one, another guy who ran a shit ton for LSU last season. There's just he seems to really back his transfers and really believe in his transfers. They seem to play as much as possible. And I don't think that's a really good thing when you've got guys like Quincy Wiggins who barely even get playing time. Clint Phillips says, from the parish, I meant JD 5. The defense is playing 8 to 10 in the box, so we can't run, and the only pass JD 5 can throw is the 5-yard out, and look in his eyes. He's scared. Well, I mean, he definitely looked uncomfortable against Florida State. And he even looked hesitant and a little worried, a little frazzled against Grambling. And I'm thinking, dude, throw the ball. If it's intercepted, I don't care. Just the fact that you made that attempt, I will back Jaden Daniels. Jaden Daniels throws 5 interceptions against Mississippi State, but he does it slinging the ball around, trying to make plays. You will hear me defend him for 6 hours straight on this show. I will stay up actually, no, not all night because the game's early. I will be here all day defending him if he throws 6 interceptions, but actually gives us a chance to win by throwing the damn football all over the place. Just kidding. We can't defend 6 interceptions. If he throws 3, we will still defend him. Okay? Clint Phillips says, put Stamps, Welch, Brooks, Major, even though he tackles like a 4th grade girl. And Zai on the other end. Dude, I don't like the idea of having Zai Alexander out there right now. I think Zai Alexander has been really found out and exposed. And I don't know why we would continue to give him chances out there. That's like Sage Ryan was pulled from the Florida State game for allowing 4 catches. Zai Alexander has allowed 4 catches. He allowed 3 catches his first game and a touchdown. And then he allowed 5 this last week. Targeted 9 times last week, too. So clearly Grambling went into that game knowing that guy's susceptible. that guy's someone we can pick on. They targeted him 6 more times than even Florida State did. What does that tell you? What does that tell you, you know? So I think you have Stamps and then Harris. And then I think you rotate LaTerrence Welch. I think you give him a chance. I think you put Sage Ryan at nickel. And then Brooks Jr. and Burns at safeties. If Sage allows a catch at nickel and you don't like what he's doing at nickel, I think you move Sage back to safety and move Brooks Jr. to nickel. I think this belief in Andre Sam was way, way, way off. Like, the guy can make a few tackles, he can make a few plays, but when you throw it over the top of him, he is completely lost. Something that we wrote in his preseason profile. And what happened? Completely lost. Some huge, huge, huge missed tackles. Lon with the great last name, Phillips. Yes, indeed, my man. Well, it's Phillips Sullivan, technically, but legally, my last name is just Phillips. So, yeah. Let's start Diggs and Jackson at running back. I agree. I don't know how you couldn't agree with what they did last week. I mean, John Emery Jr. I'm so glad we got him back. And I want to see him in the game. I want to see him hit out of the backfield with those passes that we saw him score against Alabama and Florida last year with. You know, John Emery Jr. had 8 combined touchdowns last year. He scored in the biggest games of the year. Like, John Emery Jr. was a huge player for us last season. I don't think people really even get that. But there's going to be a process for him to get back into game shape too. And so until that happens, you have no right to take any opportunity away from Logan Diggs or Caleb Jackson at running back right now, because what they've shown you is simply the most explosive running we've seen at LSU outside of Jane Daniels over the last 2 seasons. Josh Williams was unbelievably reliable for LSU last year, but explosive, weirdly, on 3rd and long, 3rd and 18, 3rd and 25, like, that was when Josh Williams would be at his most explosive. You saw him get like a 3rd and 20-something conversion this last game against Grambling. This is something Josh Williams has done the last 2 years. I don't know how to explain it, but he's gotten like, I think 4, 5, 6 3rd and long conversions just in the last 2 years. Even just the last 16 games. It's nuts what we've seen from Josh Williams. But wow, that's a great point. That's a great point from Clint Phillips right here. All this talk about Omar Spates was horse shit. I watched Jared Small, former LSU Tiger, 2019 LSU Tiger, who somehow still has eligibility, who now is transferred to Tulane. I watched Jared Small dominate Ole Miss when Tulane played them. Look at Small's box numbers at linebacker for Tulane. 9 tackles against Ole Miss, 4 TFLs. Like, Jared Small is experiencing the type of like rejuvenation that is something that is legendary. Almost like you just never see this. You just never see this type of shit. I'm so happy for him, man. I mean, after the Clyde Edwards-Helaire, when he was in a car with Clyde Edwards-Helaire and there was a shooting and they shot someone, killed that man who was about to shoot them. Since that moment, Clyde kind of got the backing and the support and was able to really like turn things around. I mean, like 6 days after that game, he was scoring against UCF and returning the opening kickoff almost for a touchdown. Like, he had a big game against UCF. It kind of was a statement for things to come. But after that moment, Jared Small, for him, he was never the same. Like, you know, you saw Clyde go like this and Jared go like that. And Jared Small is supposed to be a great linebacker for LSU. I mean, look in the lead up to the 2021 season. I know Coach O was full of a lot of shit, but one thing that was constant was his love for Jared Small, saying how great this player was, how tenacious he was, and we saw it in that spring game. That spring game was awesome from Jared Small. I think he had like 2 sacks, an interception, and like 12 tackles. Like, he was ridiculous for LSU in that spring game. And you just thought, this is going to be that moment for Jared Small at LSU. This is finally going to be that moment. And he tears his ACL days before the UCLA game because they're having to practice inside Houston's Energy Stadium because of the hurricane. You can't get more of like an unfortunate bullshit type like ending for Jared Small's LSU career than what just happened. The fact that with all that lead up, waiting like 3-4 years for that opportunity and finally getting it, and then that happens was just crazy. And for him to go to Tulane, and you're seeing a guy like Gerald Chapman, former LSU defensive assistant, who's the defensive line coach at Tulane, someone who I still talk to all the time. You're seeing someone like Gerald Chapman, who could have really helped this LSU defensive line out. You're seeing him absolutely destroy over there. Look at how much pressure they've got over there. 33 pressures, 10 sacks, 4 quarterback hits, 19 quarterback hurries. I mean, are you kidding me? One second. Just need to get some water, and then we're going to get to our conclusion. And it goes standing in my mind, I'm fine, thinking only best five. Laughing lady, living love. What's the good, my Selassie? Listen not to what I say. Okay, let's take a look here. I'm so annoyed at how tackles for loss aren't even tracked by Pro Football Focus. And then for tackles for loss on ESPN stats, you have to like go into the game. They don't just put them out like on the actual like a defender. It says tackles, stops, hits, quarterback hits, interceptions, fumble. Like they don't have tackles for loss. Why not? Why is that like not an like applicable stat? Jared Small only had 1.5 tackles for loss versus Ole Miss, not 4. Still, 5 tackles, 4 solo, 1 sack, 1 TFL. Hell of a game. John, get in here. Schlemp Genova says, where's DeMario Tolan? Where are you, bro? Didn't you see him transfer like back in December, back in January? DeMario Tolan's speed at linebacker would be a huge asset for us right now, and I've been saying it all offseason with people always laughing at me. I said, we're thin at linebacker. Linebacker worries me, and people would literally look at me and laugh at me. Harold Perkins and Omar Spates and Greg Penn III, they worry you? I'm like, yeah, you're thinking about what's on paper. You're thinking about who's available right now. I'm thinking about guys we can lose, guys we might lose, guys who might not even be there by the 5th, 6th game because they're on the sideline hurt. I'm thinking about that because I know the cost of the season seems to be always forgotten by a lot of fans. I'm telling you. Clint Phillips. Prediction tomorrow. We've got LSU. You know, let's post we actually let the cat out of the bag earlier on the show, but there's our prediction right there at the LSU Mississippi State preview article. But we've got LSU winning 29-13. I mean, LSU haven't scored more than 36 points on these guys since 2013. It doesn't matter who the coach is. We tend to score far less points when we play in Starkville. A lot of the scores were actually under like 20 points. There was so many ugly games in this series. DeMario Tolan left Auburn. Yeah, he left us, transferred from us, and then I has left Auburn as well. So that sucks. I mean, I met DeMario Tolan in Atlanta. Awesome kid. Met his family. They wanted to see him play really bad. I think just the fact that he wasn't playing is the reason that he transferred, because that's what it was about. It was like he looked like an absolute baller. Just like he just seemed like a kid who just let me play. I'll win you games. Let me play, man. And I think not being able to get that opportunity and basically being told, no, you're going to have to watch another freshman light it up at linebacker. Like, when you're told, no, you can't play right now, you can't start because you're only a freshman, you got to wait your turn, and then you see another freshman being given the opportunities, it doesn't matter if you obviously he doesn't think he's Harold Perkins. He doesn't know. He doesn't care. He knows that he's DeMario Tolan, and he thinks he's pretty damn good too. And so where's mine? You know, you think a lot of guys in that position would be like, well, oh, it's Harold Perkins. I get why. No. That's why you're not in that position, because you don't think you're that good, I guess. You don't have that much confidence in yourself. But for me, it's quite clear DeMario Tolan was like, you know, they're not showing me the love. They're not going to let me play. I'm going to have to watch this guy go to town. That's bullshit. Here's us with DeMario Tolan. Shit, I don't know how to just like. Let's just put this as. But this is the tab, and then just move that to that. Okay. See that? I don't think anyone's able to see that photo. Yeah, I think it's just sharing the tab. Getting a call. We might have to end this and take this. 1 second. Hello? What's up? You told me 3:30. Okay, I'll come get him. All right, sorry. I love how like I never have a chance to do one of these things, and the second I'm doing one of them, I get a call from a pissed off Chelsea he's not very happy. Can you get him? And it's like, holy shit. Your career really does matter more than mine, doesn't it, at this point? Like, holy shit. This is why I don't have the chance to do this type of stuff, guys. I need to start making more money than her to the point that like she can't stop me anymore from pursuing this. Right now I'm only making, this much more than her and not a ton more than her, so it's like she feels like, I mean, it just sucks because we live here and this is where her dream job is for her. The owners love her at this place. She's able to run the makeup team, all this stuff. But my dream job is in Baton Rouge. So there's been some real come to Jesus moments. There's been some real discussions about how to figure this out for our future and how to make this right for both of us so we don't end up resenting each other or miss big opportunities that could take this family to a further higher tax bracket, because we've put in 5 years of work here and I'm not going to let it go to waste. We're not going to let any window of opportunity close on us. But our family will always come first. My son will come first above anything, including myself. I will take a bullet for that little bastard. And I guess we got to pick him up. So we're going to go pick him up, and we'll have to end this thing. But that doesn't mean we're going to be gone for good. Check back in tonight. We're going to be doing another one of these things. And it's just going to be a show where I want you guys to come in, bring the energy, and I'm just going to let you guys go loose. This is going to be a platform for you to go loose. So let everyone know tonight, 7 p.m. Central, we're going to do another one of these, 7 p.m. Central. Let me type that in. Come back, 7 p.m. Central. We're going to do it. We'll finish up with some comments from Clint. Clint says, I got LSU winning 31-16 and Nuss coming in and throwing 2 touchdown passes. Caleb Jackson running that's Caleb with a K, my dude. Caleb running a kickback to the house. That's sick. And Perk to have a breakout game, at least 2 sacks and 1 forced fumble. Sign me up right now. Hook it into my veins. Shoot me up with that. I want it right now. I will take that in a heartbeat. And it's not even really the Nuss coming in and scoring. I just want the win. I want Perk going off. I want Caleb Jackson going off. I'll take those. I think for the stability of and for the best of what's for LSU this season, we really need to have Jaden Daniels go off and have an unbelievable game, a game where he doesn't look back. he just keeps going forward and keeps just destroying and kicking ass, taking names. That's what I think we need to see for the best of LSU, is for Jaden Daniels to have a big-time game. Come back 7 p.m. Central tonight. We're going to do this again, but it's going to be even more fan involved. I want all of you talking. Spread this around to everyone you can. We want to make this an absolute LSU Tiger party tonight. You're going to literally be able to smell the alcohol and the weed coming off of the comments tonight, because people are going to be crazy. We want people to be nuts tonight. Clint Phillips just said Kelly needs to play his best players, period. Exactly. I don't care who it is, but sometimes it might not agree with who you think is that best player. So keep that in mind as well. Okay. We're going to post our prediction. We've got, this is kind of strange, but LSU 29-13, Mekhi Wingo and Logan Diggs are your MVPs on defense and offense. 29-13. Ugly. Maybe effective. Maybe okay. It's whatever. Just get in there, get the win. Get in there, avoid injuries, get the win, see improvement from Daniels, see improvement from the running game, but most of all, I want that defense to have the big breakout game they need. This defense absolutely need to have the game of the season right here, right now, to get some confidence. I don't think we'll get that. I think we'll get kind of like they'll play well enough for us to win. They'll make some plays, have a few turnovers, and I think that's what we get. I think you got to see Deshaun Womack. He was out there for only 8 snaps and had 4 tackles, 2 solo. That hit he made on special teams as well. Like, Womack has got to be out there. Chances are you put Deshaun Womack out there, there's a lot more pressure coming through the guts of that defense. Outside to inside pressure. I think that's what we're failing at. We're trying to go too much with the outside pressure, and outside pressure matters more, and get your edges out. No, we've got the best interior defensive linemen and the most versatile in the country. Free them up. Because I'm not seeing much from Obi Agofu. I'm not seeing much from Savion Jones as far as sacking quarterbacks. It's really been Braden Swinson. Braden Swinson has been your guy off the edge. He's been your best dude off the edge. Omar Spates, I don't think we're going to miss much. If Greg Penn III can play like he has, he's got to be faster. He's got to show more speed. If he doesn't have that speed, you've got to trust Whit Weeks in this game. Because Whit Weeks is one of the most versatile athletes on the entire team. You heard me. That's true. The kid can play every position. Almost like his brother, West, who played quarterback even at one point. All right, everybody. We got to go get our son. 29-13, LSU. That is our prediction. MVPs, Mekhi, Wingo, and Logan Diggs. Thank you all for joining us. You all are amazing. This was awesome. Thank you for all your comments. Clint, my guy, thank you for showing up. Hopefully you show up for every show coming forward. Loved your posts. Schlemp Genova, thank you so much for coming up in here. Who else did we get in here? Jordan Haddad, thank you so much. And hopefully we can break that news ASAP, because this is news that is going to excite a lot of LSU fans. Not only is it going to help LSU on the field, but it's something off the field that is just no one has any answers or even has any indication about what is going on in this situation, but most want to know. So hopefully we can be the ones to tell you, because I cannot wait to be the bearer of this great news. Everybody, that's our prediction down there. Check out our prediction and analysis preview article. We put the link in the comments. It's there in the description as well. Everybody, we love you. Go Tigers. Let's kick some ass, take some names. The last season in SEC West history, the final season in the SEC West. Are we going to let Mississippi State beat us?